Welcome back to the channel. Thanks for watching this front 9 of Dino Hills Disc Golf Farm. Make sure to check out the back 9 after you're done with this one. This is our new favorite course in the DFW area. It's in, excuse me, it's in Glen Rose, Texas. Coming in at just over 7,000 feet with a par of 59. There's a lot of challenging holes and unique shot shapes. Plus, it's just a gorgeous, gorgeous property. The owner, Brandon, is super awesome. He is always up here at the pro shop, and we enjoy coming out here a lot.
All right, so I'm first up on the tee here, and I'm going with more of a stable to understable disc, the Hades, and just to work the more of an S shape through here. As you can kind of see when you look down, there's a lot of trees that kind of guard the wide hyzer on this shot.
Yeah, you're good disc.
Beautiful. What do you I can't wait to hear. Look at 2 boxes. Oh, cool. Thank you. Yeah. I mean, me as in like.
And coming in at about 440 feet. It's downhill, so it probably plays much closer to 400. But yeah, with the trees on the right and left,
300 each.
The lines are kind of limited. I'm going with a backhand flex shot, trying to work the whole width, cut just inside that tree on the right that I definitely hit in a tournament, and give myself all the room to work down into the fairway. Really, the only mistake, if your right-hand backhand is hyzering out early into the camping area, it's really, really thick down there. So you definitely want to control your nose angle and your wing angle and start getting down as you move down the fairway.
The easy mistake here is to get into the trees right off the tee pad on the right, because it is a bit of a, as you would say, tunnel in the very beginning.
Yeah, and you hear me saying in the back, yep, I hit that in the tournament. Here's Justin's upshot. Put himself in good position, didn't get too close to hole 2's tee. And had a nice look at it, at this elevated basket.
Get up. Off the tire.
Brandon here implements a lot of the farm equipment that was left behind from the many years that this has been in his family, and it makes it just even more unique experience out here. It makes it really feel more of like playing in your own backyard.
Yeah, and this is one of a handful of elevated pins. I'm guessing the bedrock was too close and he wasn't able to dig. That's usually the case on these. But this is the only one that's this elevated.
Now on this one, this is hole 2, 229 feet of par 3. As you can see, there is pretty much trees everywhere in front of you. As you can see with Davis there, the left hand, you can go wide, but you still deal with a lot of trees, but it's better for the right hand because you have a little more open but very low ceiling.
Yeah, it's really dealer's choice on this one. What tree or tree line you want to flirt with.
You can be brave and try to go down the middle because there is a very small tunnel there, but
yeah, it's just begging you to go for it. I think it's kind of the sucker gap. Not to call Keenan a sucker here, but I mean it's begging you to go for it, and he does. It's hard to commit because there's so many trees blocking if you're more than just a foot or two. I mean, the gap is only a foot or two wide. It's nuts. I'm looking forward to throwing right hand backhand and being able to play like a low penetrating skip shot. But for now, left hand hyzer is the way to go.
It's like if you do get lucky and get out here to where I am, you can get a pretty open look for the for the bird if you know how to putt. Just I wasn't doing too great this day.
Yeah, and probably this is one of those holes where, depending on the time of day that you play, it probably affects how attackable it is. Because we were playing early, the grass is still a little wet from the rain the night before, so you're not able to get many skips towards the pin. But if it hadn't rained all night, you'd probably get some good skips towards the basket.
This hole also typically plays with a headwind as of right now. Every time we played, we did have a headwind, so that really hurts you with. It wants to lift up when you already have to have a low ceiling to deal with.
Yes, hole 3, 524 feet uphill. Feels like it plays like 800 feet. Not really, but it's a tough hole to get. Luckily, it is a par 4, giving us some leeway. And this one is another one you don't want to sod off early left. You're going to hit some OB trees and be in the camping area. So you need to push up the hill before you make contact with the ground, whether you're going to skip left or skip right. I'm having to try really hard not to skip too far to the right like my shot wants to, because the further right you get off the tee, the more pinched it is. You really want to push straight to straight left up the hill. And you'll see the second shot, kind of what you're dealing with. Trying to give yourself an open angle onto the green to give you a chance at a birdie.
Almost like the best pin position would be far up the hill, kind of under this oak tree that you're seeing on the left. If you can get up to that point, you're looking at the basket.
Yeah, that would be a primo spot to be in that shade tree on the left that we were just looking at. Yeah, again, just a gorgeous property. So open out here, so quiet. Huge greens like this that are just a pleasure to be on. It feels like you're not anywhere near the Metroplex. I mean, it's not a short drive. It's an hour and 20 from the southwestern edge of the Metroplex, but it is just so worth it to get out here and be out in nature and away from crowded, loud, noisy courses we've got.
This is probably one of the more beautiful tee pads on this course. Hole 4 is 418 feet, a par 3. It is kind of another like hole 1, just a shot off of the top of the hills here. Absolutely beautiful. Spin straight ahead, but if you hyzer flip out, or you turn over anything, or you hyzer out, you're going to be pinched off by some pretty big trees.
And those trees can be problematic too, because if you do get caught up by one and drop, or you scoot up to the bottom of one, almost all of them have some sort of bush or thorns around the bottom, and they can make it really problematic to address your lie. So you do have lots of room to just unleash on this hole, but you do want to keep it in center cut.
This is one that, again, kind of with hole 2 being a headwind, this is a left to right crosswind typically. Mm-hmm. So on the tee pad, you do not typically feel any of those winds. So as soon as you get your disc out there, it takes advantage of wherever it's sitting.
Yeah, Walker throwing for 3 from an ideal tee shot if you're able to push it down there. And see what I mean? Like, Justin manufactured something awesome through that little gap, but those trees can be pretty problematic if you leak too far out to the left or the right.
And now this is the last of the holes on this side of the creek for the course, and after this we get more on the back side of the property. Nice. And here on hole 5 you get like a really good tunnel shot. I'll let Davis explain this one.
Nice, dude.
Yeah, this one's a hard get. Playing left-handed, it just stinks, so I'll talk about playing right-hand backhand. You could play it safe with a mid-range off the tee to not get, tree kicks, but if you really want to put it in the circle for a birdie, it's a hyzer to flat to hyzer shot with something that's going to penetrate forward as it skips. You don't want anything that's going to you don't want anything that's going to get a big flare skip.
Off to the left there is just a straight drop of about 30 feet into a creek.
Yeah, so hole 6, short hole, 269 feet, baskets straight ahead underneath those low-hanging trees. This is like your classic, like overstable utility, you know, Raptor, Firebird, FD3 kind of flex shot. You want to work on the right side of the fairway and get past that big tree and get something that's going to skip towards the pin. Left-handed, you can skip from the left side under the branches, but I just didn't commit at all.
There is the forehand play if you have the power to go wide around and spike it in.
Mm-hmm. The tree is really grabby still. Not a lot of people have crashed through it. So the ground play seems to be the safer, more predictable option.
But this is probably, we were here when the leaves hadn't fully bloomed, but now this is probably one of the prettier greens to be in because it is just really shaded and super covered. But this is by far my favorite tee
Oh,
pad.
mine too. I love this tee.
This just has a beautiful tree here. You're looking straight up into the field. The cows are usually roaming around. And then you got the hills in the foreground from where you're standing. It's just everything about it's ideal.
Yeah, this is another long one, par 3. I mean, if par is getting to the green plus 2 putts, man, this hole is not a par 3. But par is irrelevant anyways. This is definitely a 2-shot and then a putt hole for sure. Getting out past that telephone pole. It doesn't look very far out there, but I mean that's a good throw.
It's a 298. I ranged that one.
Yeah, the nose angle is just so critical here because again, you're in this protected tee area and you can't feel the wind out there, and you're throwing uphill, so the nose angle is just really critical.
And a lot of these is it's a very open field, so it is just kind of a grip it and rip it kind of situation where you just want to get something as far out there as you can, and then you're going to be doing that again to get there because it is a 505 feet, but it does play more like 560.
Yeah, and this is another one of those elevated baskets. This one's on a stump.
And the reason for a lot of these elevated baskets, like Davis did say, is there is bedrock here, and he could not get more than maybe even a couple inches down before he hit bedrock, so he had to elevate them. And it makes a lot of these very ideal and unique.
Well, I did that. All the ones on the right moved.
Also, on top of that tee pad just being awesome, oh man, listening to Justin try and get these cows to move. We're dealing with that a lot today. It seemed like they were following us, but they're really mellow. Don't cause any problems, just kind of get in your head a little bit. But anyways, like that last tee pad in the shade, that was one of the first things I noticed about this course, just like hole 8 here. But almost all the tee pads are in the shade, so even in this summer months kick in and it gets really hot, this is going to be a great course to play in.
Although I did talk to Brandon recently, he said that the holes that do not have shade, he is working on making little canopies over the areas so that they will be shaded. Because he already said that in those summer months it would just be miserable.
Yeah, yeah. There's a couple of them that I'm ready golf for sure on those tees. But yeah, this hole is a roller hole all day for me. It's 740 feet downhill, par 4, in a kind of a tight green that's somewhat particular to reach. But just like the last hole, just a big rip it and grip it. There is a few more obstacles in the fairway to see here. I wish I got the camera angle, but that file corrupted. But yeah, there's definitely some obstructions on this hole off the tee you want to navigate around.
In your ideal landing spot for your average, maybe 300-foot thrower, or for those who get around there, you're going to be landing in the 3 guardian trees, so you either want to try to play a little before them or just really get it past them. And from there you're into an open field, but you are going towards a lot of woods for the green. These are the 3 trees we've been talking about. One of them at least.
Yeah, he's kind of nestled up towards the left one. There's one right in front of him, and then there's the smallest one is on the right. off the camera view. And if you push too deep on this green, or you get caught up in the right stuff on the green coming in with a hyzer, that stuff is thick. That's around a creek in the pond, or that flows into the ponds, and it's not very beat in, so you don't want to go in there yet, if at all. I mean, there's a lot of natural OB on that creek channel as we're heading north. On the front, yeah, Justin, that was a sweet shot.
Yeah, I just made a really good shot there. Didn't get to see much of it with my dance.
And I'm trying to throw a soul in here, real understable mid, and I just fluff it. It stalls, and that thing's a roller all day long. I don't know how I did that. Hole 9, this is the first hole that's out in the sun. 397 feet, par 3. Right-handed is a little trickier, but left-handed, you basically just want to, like, pump your straight to stable driver, and then as it loses speed, just hyzer in towards the green and give yourself a long look at it too.
I'm throwing really a free tail here, trying to get it to finish on the right, but more Davis here doing the same and trying to get the cows out of the way.
Yeah.
But that tree straight ahead there, the really green one, I guess you would say, trying to land underneath that to get the look into the green that is right off to the...
For the right-hand hyzer
really
shot?
Almost a 90-degree off of there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I just fluffed that one again. I don't know what was going on with me this day, but I didn't hang it out to left. I'm going to blame it on the cows. I was nervous. I didn't want to hit one of them, so I threw it way too straight, and it hyzered it into the rough I was talking about. And I actually had to walk. I could see it, but there's a barbed wire fence. I could see my disc, but I had to walk about 100 feet around to get to my disc. Keenan's joining me as well. Just didn't push it. You kind of want to, if you're throwing a forehand or left-hand backhand, you almost want to push that brush pile that you saw to the left of that tree that's about 90 degrees off the green.
Now this is where I landed, and I was throwing the free tail, got it, or it may have been an Avenger SS, but the basket's straight down, and you just can throw in there. There is a creek that I've always called the Rattlesnake Den. It is like just a worn out spot where the water that runs through there eats away.
Works as a nice backstop too.
It does.
The basket that's right behind Walker here, I mean, it settles in the bottom of this creek channel, so you can definitely run at it, and it creates a nice little backstop. Thanks for watching the front 9. Be sure to check out the back 9 and check out the rest of the Dinosaur Hills Disc Golf Farm.